What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are back with career mode, episode number 52, and in this episode I'm running with a new microphone. Let me know if it sounds any better. For 99% of you it probably sounds the same, but who knows. There's probably some audio files out there, and if there are, please help me. Anyway, welcome back to a new episode. This is the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku. We're going to be negotiating that castle section a numerous amount of times today, and let's hope that we can get through every single time and not make a Charles Leclerc of ourselves. So anyway, here we are going. How do I do words? I don't know. Upgrade wise, we're going to do an upgrade to the MGUH. That's actually one of the facets of the power unit components is wearing out the most, despite having higher upgrades than the energy store. The energy store isn't actually wearing out that much compared to other areas. I'm yet to do a major upgrade for the energy store yet, but we'll get to that at a later date. But we will get that on just in case reliability rears its ugly head later on in the season. We want to get through season 3 with as little engine penalties as possible, and I think this could be the first time ever since, you know, engine penalties and stuff coming in that we'll be able to get away with the allocated power unit components. Hopefully. I don't want to put the mocker on it, but I think we can get there if we stretch maybe. But we'll wait and see. Practice end for Azerbaijan, and 8/10 clear of Lewis Hamilton. Not too bad if you ask me. That's pace will not last as we head into qualifying, and we'll see how we go. For this weekend, we're going to opt for our new engine components. We've gone, 7, 8 races without having to take engine components. And we're not even forced to do so just yet. I'm only doing it for performance reasons. And I'm going to go back to Power Unit 1 for future episodes. Tracks that are not so power specific. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, for Azerbaijan, the massively long straight, I just want to take a new engine for this race, and then we'll return to the other ones for... I mean, we've got a few power tracks coming up, actually. Canada, France, Austria, and Silverstone is a circuit in particular, which is spent at full throttle for a lot of the laps. So the fresher engine is really going to come in handy over these next few rounds. Then we'll probably go back to Power Unit 1 for Hungary. Anyway, upgrade-wise, we did a drag update for this race, major one. Mercedes upgraded too, but it's time for quali. Right then, it is time for qualifying for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Random fact of the day. I have a blocked ear, and I have had one all day today and pretty much all day yesterday. I feel like a completely different person, like I am incapable of doing menial tasks, like walking, or I don't know, I feel weird. Anyway, I had to do this race with a blocked ear. That's my excuse for me being a bit poo this weekend. We'll have to wait and see, but no, it'll be fine. Just thought I'd mention that. What happened to the old fact of the days in my comment section? There was a guy who was doing it every single day, and then he gave up. Free cookie for the next person who does fact of the day. Anyway, it's time for quali. We breezed through qualifying 1 with 1 singular lap, so thankfully only 1 set of tyres used. Heading into Q2, we're going to try and do more of the same. I'm recycling the first set of tyres I used in Q1. That got me a banker time of a 1:36.3, which was only 1/10 away from the time we did on fresh tyres in Q1. So in actual fact, that was a better lap than my Q1 lap, despite it being slower. But end of Q2, and we actually go provisional pole position with a 1:35.5, absolutely smashing a time out of the park to get provisional P1. Vettel only 0.07 of a second behind. So heading into Q3, it should be a very close affair. Daniel Ricciardo, very disappointing, 0.7 away. You compare that to Ocon, who was only a couple tenths slower than me. A big surprise packet of Q2 was Ocon and Sergio Perez, and that's kind of continuing with Perez's form there in P4. But everyone is up their game heading into Q3, and that leaves me a little bit worried. Because I did a 35.5, and I think Hamilton has done a 34.9. So somehow Hamilton has found like 6 tenths out of nowhere in this session. Maybe some party modes. But it's the same for like everyone else. So maybe some people or a lot of people were holding back in Q2 a little bit. And now they're really upping the ante here in Q3. For the time being, we've gone slower. But we need to turn that form around if we want to get back to the front 2 rows of the grid and be challenging the likes of the Mercedes, Ferrari, and my teammate Sebastian Vettel, the championship leader. Let's put an end to his reign at this midpoint of the season, coming up to the midpoint of the season, shall I say. Anyway, third sector now, and you can see we're up by 6.5 tenths. No point following the rest of the straight in slow motion. That only adds time to our lives, which we don't have time for. Life is too short to watch qualifying laps at Baku. Am I right? Of course I'm right. It's P5, 8 tenths away from Sebastian Vettel. Again, Q3. The AI pulled it out of the bag. We did go faster by 2 tenths, but not enough, it seems, to match it with our competitors. So heading into the race, we'll see what we can muster. It could have been a case of the AI just doing qualifying time glitched. You know, when you fast forward the session a little bit, or they do a time when you're going either to or from the garage. So I'm not overly worried. This has happened before. Hopefully we'll be in the running for the race to get the win. But we've got a few cars to overtake to get to victory lane. What? Oh, God.
And a warm welcome to you from Azadlik Square, heart of Baku and home, of course, to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With high speeds, tight corners and few runoff zones, many are expecting a safety car here today, so our drivers will have to stay very much on their toes and hopefully away from the barriers. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Now, I want to ask you about Lando Norris. As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
I'd like to apologise to everyone for saying victory lane at the end of that last sequence. I've not watched any NASCAR this year, so I don't know how that's come over me, but there we go. That's the equivalent of calling football soccer, which a lot of Australians do, which I'm quite ashamed about. Anyway, here we are for the race, Azerbaijan Grand Prix. If I say at any point coming into pit road, feel free to shoot me. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Anyway, we're going to do a soft compound stint to probably mediums, actually. I think with the ultimate tire wear upgrades, we can push it and get away with it. So I think in order to do that, we can stretch the soft compound tire stint at the start and then go mediums. I feel like the soft hard strategy is not the way to go. This is season 3. We've got so many more upgrades, and I think we can really push the envelope with that kind of thing. 5 red lights, and we are underway for the Grand Prix of Baku. And again, it's not a good start. So I don't think we'll be heading our way to victory lane today if this kind of form ensues. Through turn 1, tried to go around the outside of Ocon. It might work at turn 2. Again, we've gone in pretty deep. But in the end, we get the move done, and we are back into P5 in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Ocon coming back at us here in the slipstream. No DRS, of course, at the start of the race. That'll kick in around lap 3. As you can see, Ocon going up the inside into turn 3. And we managed to hold firm really well there. And now hopefully we can set after the likes of Albon. 12% tyre wear on the rears already. That's going to be the key to this race, and especially our strategy if we want to utilise the 2 softer compounds. Just looking after those rears, using higher gears if we can. Lean revs at times. And, yeah, just being smart about the way we drive this car today. So much horsepower, so much torque with all the engine upgrades we have applied to this thing. Could probably do with doing more chassis upgrades to maybe help manage that power a little bit. Maybe weight redistribution. is an avenue we could go down. But for the time being, yeah, just try and dull the revs as much as we can. Third and fourth gear is your friend around this place, that is for sure. First, you don't want to be using that at all. That's just wheel spin city. So, yeah, we'll see. Third gear through here in a relatively tight corner. Low speed as well. The car just has so much acceleration you can get away with using higher gears, and it's the way to go in order, yeah, to look after the tyres. Anyway, I'm a broken record at this point. We're catching up to Alexander Albon, who is in the slipstream of Lewis Hamilton at this stage. My teammate Sebastian Vettel running away with this race, as he always does. Albon with a bit of a weave, a bit of a oversteer moment there at the exit of the final corner. And we're going to see if we can make the most of that in rich fuel mixture. I was in overtake, but then I decided to save a bit of it because you can easily deplete all of that as we go around the outside of Albon at turn 1. And we do get the job done. Happy weave the wheel there. And we are through now for P4 in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Very tight there on the apex of turn 1. Here's the replay on board with Albon. This man is a really good overtaker in real life. I think he's a bit underrated, to be honest. I honestly think he's probably the best overtaker in F1 at the moment, better than Ricciardo, at least in the Renault. But I love watching Albon overtake, and we just did an Albon overtake on Albon. So there we go, P4 for the taking. Hamilton is up next, Bottas in P2 doing Bottas things. He is in front of his teammate today, but again, he's not leading a Grand Prix and not putting that much pressure on Vettel. So let's see if we can do some of that as we go around the outside of Hamilton. Candy from a baby, and we are through now onto the podium here in Baku. And not a great run for me. Hamilton's going to come back at us into turn 2. We leave him the space on the inside, and Hamilton makes a bit of contact on the apex there, costing us both time, which is exactly the opposite of what we need. This was a silly move from Hamilton. I'd just overtaken him. He was going to get DRS off of me. Could have followed me through. I was the faster car, and he just pulls a bonehead move, and now he's being overtaken by Ocon because he cost himself time. That is a low-grade league racing move right there. Silly stuff, and now he's paying the price of that. He's getting overtaken by Albon now, so Hamilton's getting his just desserts, getting swallowed up by everyone, and he may well be out of this race now, potentially. Well, he probably already was. Vettel is a long way up the road, but checking the status of the cars ahead and behind, and it looks like the gist of today is a one-stop, but I would assume that those around us are going to go to hards to actually make it to the end of the race. Ocon is coming in early, so we'll see what tyres he goes on to now. If it's not hards, if it's mediums, he's doing a 2-stint. So we'll see, a 2-stop race. Yeah, and it is mediums, so there's no way that Renault could make mediums last to the end. I could be wrong. They could have more tyre wear upgrades than anyone. But just thinking logically, we have the best tyre wear in the field, I would say, as we see our teammate in fairly early in this race. Maybe Vettel is doing a 2-stop in this race as well. Let's see what tyres he goes on board with the rest of the race. If it is hard, it's definitely a 1-stop. He's going on to mediums. We do have ultimate tyre wear upgrades on, but I don't know if mediums could last to the end here. The default strategy, or the personalized strategy, I think, was hards to the end from lap 7. So, you know, I'm stretching it, and I'll be coming in around like lap 9 or 10 for mediums to make it to the end, maybe only just. We'll have to wait and see, though. But that's an interesting strategy from Vettel. It looks like he's going to be doing a 2-stop in this race. At worst, he'll be doing a 1 on mediums, but he'll be absolutely dying towards the end. So that is there's a big opportunity now for us to win this race, depending, and we'll just judge by what Vettel was doing with that early stop there on lap 6. So here we go in the slipstream now of Valtteri Bottas. He has a big wiggle at the exit of the final corner. The tyres really going off here on the softs, and the rears really start to suffer. And as you can see, Bottas suffering quite a bit with that tyre wear. He has no choice but to box at the end of that lap. The tyres scream no more from this stint, and he is in what I will assume be a set of hard compound tyres, and there he is, 17 seconds back is Valtteri Bottas. Vettel 12.1 behind me. My tyres are getting pretty worn now, 60% on the left rear tyre. And we're 9 laps in. We will be boxing at the end of this lap. We've done pretty much 10 laps on a set of tyres that we qualified on. So you do the math, we should be able to do 16 laps on a harder compounded tyre and make it to the end. So, you know, this pain that we've taken at the midpoint of the race, giving everybody the undercut on us, we'll be able to reap the rewards from that later on by doing a one-stop and having fresher, faster tyres relative to everyone else in the field. As we rejoin on the circuit, Bottas nabs us for P2. To be honest, I wasn't expecting to be this close to Bottas after my stop, but I will absolutely take that because now we're in the slipstream and DRS of him as we just start to ease into our medium stint. We'll be able to use Bottas as a bit of a leapfrog here to give us DRS and get us a fast lap maybe. We'll have to wait and see. 15 laps to go, and the lead to Vettel is 5.5. Before the stops, it was about 4.9. So Vettel really hasn't gained much in the grand scheme of things. But now we have a massive advantage going into the rest of the race. He's either going to die out in terms of tyre wear, or he's going to make an additional stop. Either way, I think this race is ours for the taking. We just need to get past Bottas if we can. He's going defensive into turn number 7, and now he's really starting to cost us time. So I don't think the fastest lap will be happening on this lap in particular. But, you know, we're close enough now to have a go, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here. Exceeding track limits for the first time this race. Let's make sure we don't do any more of those, otherwise we'll be getting a 3-second time penalty with our strict corner cutting rules. Up and overtake, and DRS flowing, and we should be able to get this move done. We leave it in overtake for the majority of the straight, and we fly past Bottas. P2 in this race could be effective P1 if Vettel is making the additional stop, but I think I can confirm now that I've got one position behind Vettel, I can ask the engineer what his status is, and he is coming in for one more stop in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But strategy is always dynamic, and it can always change. And I was, you know, worried in a way that the tyre wear would be so low that Vettel would also realize that and then stretch out his tyres to the end of the race. Because I'm realizing that the tyre wear was a lot lower on the mediums than even what I had anticipated. And these tyres will actually be able to go easily to the end of the race, believe it or not. So I actually should have came in earlier to make a faster race strategy. We do set the fast lap of the Grand Prix. 1 minute 38.7 on the last lap. And now we are absolutely flying. Vettel has no answer to our pace, no answer to our strategy. And yeah, there we go. That is the race completely handed to us. Vettel with a massive mistake in a blunder in strategy. I don't know what they were thinking. A 2-stop in Season 3 of Career Mode. I mean, a 2-stop is pretty bad in Season 2, let alone when you've got ultimate tyre wear upgrades. This is a lesson that Vettel needs to learn from, because if he wants to win the championship this year, he cannot be making any more of those mistakes. He can't allow momentum to go back in my favour. But after that second stop for Vettel, it was pretty academic, really. We had a retirement for Mick Schumacher, which had me worried for a little bit that there was going to be a safety car. Thankfully, that is not the case, and we had a relatively clear run to the end of the Grand Prix. Antoine Hubert setting fastest lap there, which was a nice surprise. And then I think Charles Leclerc also banged in a fastest lap at some point. You'll probably see that. But that is down to people outside the top 10 starting on the hard compounded tyre and then ending on the soft. So there are a lot of random people setting fastest laps at the end of the race here. But a close shave with the wall didn't hurt us there, and we were able to press on with the race. Stretching away from Bottas, 4 seconds is the gap. There's Leclerc's fastest lap. Vettel 8 seconds back, but he's not gaining enough to reel me in at the end of the race. So we're able to breathe easy, just bring it home nice and consistently. And I was driving very consistently, kind of getting fast towards the end of the race as well, as the fuel was burning off and the tyres weren't going off by a crazy amount. So I didn't have too much to worry about in my side of the garage. But this is the last lap of the Grand Prix. Vettel here on this last lap got dangerously close to Bottas. He will get the DRS and the slipstream on the run up to the line. But looking at the gap, I don't think it's going to be enough for him to overtake. He might get the fastest up, though. For us, it is victory. Made the right calls at the right time. And we take the spoils here for Marduk Motorsport. 3rd win of the season. And now we start to put the pressure back on our teammate as we head into the midway part of the season.
It's never an easy race here in Azerbaijan. There's drama around every corner, but they've come through to take a brilliant win here today. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today and the results speak for themselves.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One.
What do you know? We make it up into victory lane after all. Spraying the champagne. It's a shame it's not Indy. Could have broke out the bottle of milk. But in the end, 25 points. Vettel did get the fastest lap on the last lap, so at least he can take some solace out of that. But really, either he or his team have really thrown away a victory today. That could have been theirs. They need to go back to the drawing board and realize that this car is a lot better on tyres than what they were anticipating heading into this Grand Prix weekend. 9 points is the difference in the championship. Yep, that's another 1-2 in our favor. We could get very, very close, and then another scalp on top of that, and we should be in the lead of the drivers' standings, but I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. Vettel is a very handy customer on the other side of the garage. Constructors-wise, because me and Vettel are firing so well, we're absolutely dominating. 143 points to Mercedes. Red Bull aren't even in the competition. Neither is anyone else. The only person who can really challenge us for the title in terms of the drivers now is Lewis Hamilton, and he didn't have a great day today. He's in triple figures, but no one else really is, which is pretty crazy. But in any case, that has been this Grand Prix for today. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. Still, we go another episode without the safety car. I feel like it's probably nearly been a season since we've seen it now, which is pretty ridiculous. I don't know what is going on, but I hope that we see it soon and we see some driver moves heading into Season 4. Yes, I said it, Season 4. We can probably start to think about that now and whether we might have a massive regulation change. We also didn't have one heading into this season, so I am expecting some big shakeups into next season, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But that's been this episode for today, guys. Let me know what you thought of it down in the comments. How's the mic quality? I have a sneaking suspicion the mic might be slightly quieter than my other one, but better quality. I don't know. I do have a blocked ear though, so it's hard to hear anything properly right now. I'm just being a big baby, being a bit dramatic. But anyway, that's enough rambling from me today. Hopefully you enjoyed. When you see this, maybe tomorrow, I'm going to do a 100% race around Russia on the PC, so get on that if you can. Follow me on Twitter. I will post when I'm going to do that. If I don't do it tomorrow, it will be before the Grand Prix weekend. That's something I do want to do and get back to. So, yeah, look forward to that and some more open lobbies because that is fun and I miss it. So, stay tuned. Until the next one, I'll see you next time. Have a good day. Cheers.